Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's David Palmer, the Leo King. We're here for the Chinese New Year and the new moon. And I so wish that I could have made it for the new moon spiritual dance music, but didn't happen. Haven't been feeling the best. I think that we've all been through a massive wipeout, right? I think it's the best way to describe it, right? It's kind of like a wipeout, like boom. But I think it's a beautiful time. I mean, I think we're going to look back at this vibe and this energy that we're all going through right now. And I think we're really going to go, holy crap. It was a beautiful moment. It was a beautiful change. It was a beautiful, life that we all switched into. And I think this new moon really is about settling into things. Even though Aquarius isn't really about settling, it is a fixed sign though. And I feel that this new moon cycle, because it did complete the whole cycle of this eclipse season, which this was a pretty intense eclipse season to have all the planets direct. And then if you really think about all the things that happened just in between the eclipses, I mean, we had a Mars trine Jupiter. We had Venus and Jupiter conjunct. But then we had these harder transits, right? Like Chiron coming into the last degree of Pisces. We had Venus square Chiron just recently. We had, oh man, there were so many. Mercury going through Capricorn, through the Pluto-Saturn conjunction, through the South Node. We had a lunar eclipse in Leo square Uranus. We had the Sun square Uranus. We had so many things. I mean, just this month alone feels like, and I forgot who to quote because I talked to lots of people, but it's not from me, but somebody told me in a text, one of the spiritual people I talked to, that they feel like they've gone through multiple lifetimes in just this month. And, I think that's a really good way to put it. And I really want to reference that person. It might be Sarah Delane. It might be, I don't know, it's like, one of those things where you gotta like go through your phone and be like, who said it? Like, but I think it's a good way to put it, right? Like, it's all been just like one big multiple lifetimes of energy, just like compounding, right, on us all. So, and I think a good way to put things too with this Chiron at the end of Pisces is, I mean, Pisces is the end, it's a wipeout. It's tiring. It's tiring. And we're gonna screen share and we'll look at the chart, but I just want to like remind people that there is this element of we are tired. And then Saturn and Pluto are demanding with the South Node to keep going. And Jupiter's demanding to learn, to see the big picture and the positivity of all things. So when you look at all this, I mean, really, no matter how tired we are, no matter how things just, don't maybe go to plan exactly, because I think Chiron at the end of Pisces does not have anything go to plan, even though Saturn and Pluto want everything to go to plan. And the South Node and the eclipse in Capricorn we had 2 weeks ago, I mean, it's like, or a month ago, sorry. I mean, I think that this is like, things don't go exactly to plan, but they actually do. That's the whole funniest part of it all. It's like they actually do in a weird way. I mean, you guys probably thought I was going to pull out a Sprite right now, and I've been making my own smoothies and shit here. But I'm at my house. I'm not at the studio. No, you weren't planning on me to pop out a smoothie that I homemade. You know what I mean? Although this new moon's in my 6th house, so I got to get my health back on track. I got to get my life back on track. I don't want to get personal, but I think a lot of people watch my channel because I get personal. This Uranus square my sun that's been going on pretty much for, even though it's about a year transit, but there's the build up to it. Like in 2017, Uranus went to 28, right? And then it retrograded at Aries. I'm 0 degree Leo. So, and then a lunar eclipse on my sun with Uranus squaring it. Like, I have lost like 10 pounds since Uranus started squaring my sun in the last like month or year and a half. And then I have not had a day off or a break, like a literal one, like where it's like full blown, where I didn't have to do anything. Even like now when I'm not feeling well. And it's weird because it's like I don't have like a cold or a flu, but I like have like allergies and my body's tired. I just think I'm just completely wiped out, like I haven't had a day off. And I do 30 videos a week. And, but I've reached a place to where even myself, I have to find a way to take care of myself better because I'm working, I think it's like 100 hours a week. I know that might sound like impossible, but it's almost there, right? It's like sometimes 15-hour days, and then I go to bed and then I wake right up and then go right back to work. So, I mean, that's kind of unhealthy, but I think it's a Leo thing that's going on. You got to remember all this Capricorn for Leos is the 6th house, and I'm all progressed Virgo. My sun, my rising, my moon is all progressed Virgo. So I am like in Virgo world. Like I now understand what it's like to be a freaking Virgo. I have so much empathy for Virgos. You know what I mean? Like I have so much empathy. I'm like, I'm living the freaking Virgo life. You know what I mean? Like there is no like moment of breaks. It's like constantly just buzzing, dude, But I appreciate the Virgo element. Like I don't feel comfortable not doing something, or if something's out of place, I can't even go to bed. It's crazy, right? It's like I just can't like let that one box that's not in the closet right. Nope, I gotta go fix that thing, and then okay, now I can go to bed. And so it's been a freaking roller coaster for me. Uranus transits are freaking gnarly. Like, I'll take them over Saturn transits. Saturn transit to my sun sucks. I hated that one. The square, the conjunction wasn't as bad, although it wasn't my 12th house. I went through some crazy shit in my life then. But I'm a 12th houser. But man, I'll take Uranus squares over Saturn. But both Saturn and Uranus, it's weird. Like I'll lose weight. I'll be totally just kind of just frazzled, like drained in every way. And I think we all are going through that in our own ways, but there's like a specific element to yourself in a weird way. And yeah, it's a weird vibe that we all are at right now. I mean, I'll be very real. The weekend with that dark moon in Capricorn, I know it was Super Bowl and all, but what a horrible weekend for a Super Bowl energy, right? Like, I mean, I'll be honest, I really don't give a fuck about the Super Bowl. I really don't care. Even though the Rams were in, and the Rams are a big deal to me because a lot of people know, if you followed sports, the Rams played in Orange County before they moved to St. Louis, even though they were the LA Rams. Now, those motherfuckers played in Orange County by Disneyland, where I grew up. It was like that was my first football game. So, but you have to remember that this weekend was gnarly on all fronts for us all. I think we all confronted just this major kind of cataclysmic, reality check in our lives of just processing what has all changed and what has all got to change, and where is this whole thing going? I mean, like, and kind of having, and our bodies and our souls just kind of clunking it all in, like dropping it on us hard. Because you got to remember, Capricorn's like a lead weight, so there's this kind of weight that's just And it's like, you know, and as I'm kind of looking at the chat, I got the pop-up chat going. You know, somebody just put, or Lady Bryce put growth, and it's total growth time. And then somebody, TJ Nichols, put processing, and they think it's like when you add growth to processing, and then you add surrender, and then you add everything else that's on top of itself right now, right? You kind of get to this place where you're just like, I just can't, you know. It's like, how much more can you topple on, right? Can you? It's kind of like like a waiter or waitress with already, you know, holding 2 things full of plates, and then, oh, just throw on more plates, please, you know, and I can't fall or get any of the plates on anybody, right? It's like too much, you know. And like, for me, like, you know, I mean, I'm blessed. I think this is what I'm going to try and teach everybody to today's ceremony, and what we're going to talk about today is that we are all so blessed. I'll use this example. So, right, I'm feeling like this weekend, and then my PR, my manager called me and go, oh, you're going to Sacramento next weekend and go on Good Day Sacramento. I'm like, oh, great. Let's throw that one on top now. And I got to be gone for a couple of days, and then we're talking to these radio shows and this. So, you know, it's like, okay, going back on another TV show and got all these other videos and all these readings and and moving the app right now and running employees and having even a PR team and having, you know, it's like, I got to a point this weekend where I literally was just like, my body, my soul, my mind literally is like, you just need to unplug and take a minute to process everything that's gone on. Because I have just moved. My business is changing with a 4-year partnership that, you know, we've been doing the app forever. And so I'm moving it to a new platform. That's a big migration. And, you know, it's hundreds of thousands of app users that are moving over. So it's like, that just in itself is a big change. And then how that's going to be in the new platform is awesome. But then, you know, this is where I'm going to show you guys the blessing. And I'm blessed. I'm so blessed, because then I wake up this morning and I'm the #1 fucking astrology book sold on Amazon. And then I'm in the top 50 of spirituality with like Eckhart Tolle and Gabrielle Bernstein. And I'm like, that's what's so the dichotomy of the universe right now, right? That if you got to look in your own life, you might be going through all this crazy crap and it might be all hard. But then like this Jupiter sextile, this new moon is like, well, wait a second, look at all these great things. But it's almost like we have to process it all. We got to go through it all. And it's a lot, you know? And, you know, and some people do it better than others, right? So some people are getting their rest. This is the whole Capricorn Cancer dichotomy right now. So I'm talking to a lot of people who, they go to bed on time, they're doing all this, but they're like calling me going, I need to make something happen. I am out of money. I cannot manifest. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, up, and it's like 3 a.m. and I'm like, well, I still got another couple hours of things to do or whatever, you know, like, and they think I'm crazy. Like, you're just up doing things. I'm like, yeah, I get 7 hours of sleep and then I go right back to work. And then I go to bed after I'm done at the last minute working, you know? Sorry, I have like allergies or something. But, so anyway, but that's the whole thing. So it's like there's this 2 sides. There's people that are in the Capricorn world like crushing it, and then it's like, damn, we need to be able to take a break here for a second. And then there's this whole other side of people that are just not doing crap, but getting all the rest and taking care of themselves. But they're like, I don't have anything. Like, they're freaking out. You know what I mean? Like, I have nothing. It's like, all I have is my rest. You know, and I'm like, okay, well. So it's like, what side do you want to be on? Of course, the North Node's a Cancer, so I think that's taking care of ourselves. But the economy is we have to learn to take care of ourselves and be able to reach this thing, because I think we all know that this Saturn-Neptune alignment that's going on right now is that we are all being called to the biggest place in our whole lives. This is it. This is what we all were waiting for. That lunar eclipse that we just had in Leo was the last North Node with the lunar eclipse in Leo we're going to have for freaking, you know, almost 2 decades. So there is this part where there's people that need to disengage, like somebody just put chill, stop, unplug, disengage, total Aquarian. And then there's other people that need to wake the fuck up and get on track, right? So we're in kind of a dichotomy because how do we all fit together? That's the whole thing about Uranus and Aquarius. So it's like you've got half the people not doing shit, and then you got half people doing stuff, but they're taxed, right? So it's like we got to find this like really weird balance here, and I think it kind of creates a little bit of chaos because, you know, because it's one or the other right now. And then with Chiron and Pisces, you know, nothing's never enough. For the people who are crushing it, it's not enough. For the people who aren't, who are getting all their rest and crushing their rest, and they're taking care of themselves, it's still not enough. If that makes sense. And that's what makes things really intense, I think. So let's take a look at the chart real quick here. Let's see. We want to go to screen share. Let's share entire screen. All right. Okay. So I'm doing the for right now, and I'm not going to zoom in because I think the last time I tried to zoom in on this, it didn't go down too well. So we've got this new moon here. And by the way, this is Astro Gold for Mac, if you guys haven't ever used it before. And I'm all about Astro Gold. So this new moon just happened. But see, it's so stressed. It's stressed by these semi-squares, which are these guys right here, okay? So the sun has been semi-square Chiron. Okay, you can see that. You can't see the semi-square because there's this sextile that's between Neptune and Saturn. But so the sun is making a hard aspect to Chiron with the new moon, and then it's making a hard aspect to Venus. Now, because we just went through Venus retrograde, Venus is trying to catch up back to the sun. Venus is going to be at a 45-degree angle for a long time. It was before, it was after. You know, it takes a while. Okay, after the conjunction point, you see it at 45 for a while. And to be honest with you, that's why relationships are always feeling half kinked a lot of the times in life. I know it might sound crazy, but there is no kind of perfect relationship because Venus plays this weird game with the sun all the time. And that's why Venus is ruled by Libra for relationship-wise, and Libras play a lot of games. You know what I mean? Like the Venus and the sun always do a really weird dance, because you can just take it back, and we can go back a couple months, right, to the retrograde. So here's the retrograde. Venus went to 10. Now see, here's the sun. It was at semi-sextile. And then you just can move this thing days here, and you can just start to see when Venus went retrograde as it was going through. When it catches up with the sun, which remember, I don't know if you all remember, it met up with the sun right here at 3 degrees, if I remember right. So, yeah, it's 3 degrees. And that was at a time when the nodes were finishing in Leo at 0. And so Venus squared the nodes. And so anyway, really, if you go back to October through now, I mean, relationship stuff's been pretty crazy because that Venus retrograde happened in its home sign of Libra, opposing Uranus, and opposing Uranus in both signs. Because at the same time, Uranus was finishing in Taurus here. Venus had retrograded it in Taurus, with it in Scorpio, I mean. And then we got the other Venus retrograde with it in Libra, opposing Uranus in Aries. So that Venus went through the most rare, weird experience ever. And I think that the bigger thing that I want to kind of show people as we move forward, and let's get back to now, is that this new moon's happening with the sun. It was at 15 degrees. So we can actually go back a couple hours to get to the exact new moon here. Okay, so let's get to that new moon at 15. Okay, so here's the new moon, 15 degrees, right? Making a semi-sextile to Neptune at 15 and a semi-sextile to Saturn at 15. So not only is it making these big, hard semi-squares, right, to Venus, playing the game, and Venus and the sun have been playing the game for a while now. This semi-square between the sun and Venus has been going on for like months and months, except for the whole retrograde point, but afterwards, it just is kind of in this stuck spot. But then you got Chiron, which of course is at the last degree of Pisces, which is very difficult, not easy. And this new moon is looking at that in a weird angle. It's like we want this freedom, we want this new experience, we want the future, but man, there's a lot of things that we're just taxed. And then we got Saturn and Neptune. There's this huge alignment in life that the sun and this new moon is squished between the Saturn and Neptune. We have to go into infinity and beyond. I know I sound like Buzz fucking Light here, but we do, but it can only be in aligned with what's in alignment with a higher purpose in our life and what we really know we must do. And then, of course, the dichotomy of this North Node, which is in Cancer, which, of course, is squaring now Mars this week and Uranus at the midpoint. See that? 23, 28, so the midpoint's 26, 25. And so the nodes are being squared by the midpoint of Mars and Uranus, that we're trying to find who we really are, no matter what that is. This is the last big point coming here, folks, of all this Aries stuff, because if we just move this thing days, but let me, before I get too caught off, let's just finish this new moon. And you've got this new moon sextile Jupiter. So it's like there's all this blessing, there's all these options, there's all this greatness, but there's a lot of stress. Right? Look at all this stress on top. It's like having people all around it, you know, kind of being hurtled around. And it makes it difficult, to be honest with you all. But there's a lot of blessings. And I think that what's even weirder too is you got Venus, which is squaring Chiron, even though it's not exact anymore. It's just, you know, this is not the best of feelings. And if you just take it a couple days back, that dark moon, look at that dark moon. That dark moon was when Venus was squaring Chiron exact, come off the trine to Uranus. So we know things are going in the right direction. We're excited about new things, new ways of understanding. But Venus and Sag kind of doesn't know exactly what's going on. It has to research. It has to open doors. It has to go through experiences. So with Chiron and Pisces, it's almost like we went through experiences this weekend maybe we didn't like or maybe we don't want to go through. And it kind of helps us set the tone. But that dark moon went through Pluto and Saturn. And I do want to bring up this whole Pluto-Saturn thing, because with Pluto and Saturn now, with only in 6 degrees, I mean, that's a big deal, because the last time that they came in conjunction was in 1982 and 1983. So we're closing out that Libra cycle. And as we move forward now, here's Mars getting ready to square the nodes, and Uranus coming to 29 on Wednesday. I mean, so really, you know, this is a pretty big deal going on here, because this new moon is setting a new course. And it's setting a new course, and this is the end of this Aries stuff. Because just go to this date right here, this Sunday, Mars, Uranus, the moon. This is the last time the moon and Mars will meet with Uranus and Aries in our lifetime, unless you live another 70-something years, because it's going to take that long to happen again. And this is all happening during this whole new moon energy, right? And so a lot of this is about whether or not you really are going to take the leap, especially with the squares to Chiron or to the North Node and the South Node. And, you know, there's this big kind of call in your destiny at this point and what you're doing. And when you get Mercury coming into Pisces, that'll be there for over 60 days. Mercury is going to be in its fall position. So it's almost like, and I'm going to come back here. It's almost like we need to all realize, like, what's coming up next week. And actually this weekend, I think that's a good way to put it too, is this weekend. You know, I don't want to be well, you know me, I tell the truth. So there is no more big like there's opportunities, don't get me wrong. But if you are stuck in a place you really don't want to be in your life, this is the last of the last of the last of the last. Like this new moon in Aquarius, Jupiter's done with all the Mars in its home sign thing. And Mars and Uranus and the moon meet up for one last big hurrah. And Mercury's coming into Pisces for over 60 days, where it's at its fall, and it gets confusing. And then all the planets start to slow down, because all this momentum of all these planets direct are slowing down and coming into shadow. Everything's starting to come into shadow. And when things start to come into shadow, you know, look at what happened to you last year. What happened when it got to April? When it got to March and April? You know what happened? Everything that you thought was going to go forward went backward. And then you didn't go past that point. That was as far as you went. So if you really want to continue and replay 2018 all over again, literally, like, this is your last couple days here, this last week, this new moon is kind of like, I'm going to change it up, because you got to remember that this is a new moon in Aquarius, and Mars happens to be in Aries with Uranus, which is in Aries. So this Aquarian new moon is about your Martian intention to free yourself into who you really want to be. And I know that sounds so, you know, egotistical. It sounds so, I don't know, like it's a, like that's a horrible thing, but it's like, you got to get to where you got to get, because this is the Saturn-Neptune sextile. It's in helio astrology. I put it up for free on YouTube and stuff. I showed what was going on with the whole Chiron cycle over the last 50 years, and how Chiron and how it's moving now towards Uranus over this next decade and so forth. And a lot of it was a big lesson here. And I think that this is the biggest lesson that's coming our way, is that in order for us to get to the ultimate place in our new destiny, you got to look at life as it's a new world. Like, everything that's happened to you in your life, everything that's gone on, every connection, every situation, it's like you got to start at it like you are at a brand new space. You know? Somebody just asked me how to do it, David. That is the question. Literally, the only thing that there is to do is just do in you what you want and the way you want it to look, and literally just do it. Like, just do it. Like, I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy. And somebody put after major surgery. I know it's gnarly. I mean, Chiron and Pisces we all have a handicap right now somewhere. Some of us are more physical than others. Some of us are more mental. Some of us are in another way. And somebody asked, no music tonight. No, I'm not feeling well. And I couldn't make it down to the studios today. So, and I'm taking the next 2 days off to completely recharge. I'm going to try to make deep astrology tomorrow night in the studios, because I think it's that important. So I'm trying to just even get, you know, which one do you want? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of at that. And plus I do app videos. So I know I all you on YouTube, I love you all so much, and I give you as much as I can, you know, but my app people come first. They pay. So those videos come first, and they're always up, you know, and there's always a video every day, and there's always a video of the green screen, and there's always the sun sign videos, and there's always the weekly intuitive, and there's always the weekly tarot. Like, I'm there every day for people for $5 a month. You know what I mean? So that's all I ask for. Everybody thinks I'm like asking for fucking the moon for $5. It's crazy. I just get, you know, that's a whole nother thing. And I know in business you shouldn't say stuff like that, but to me, I'm just like, man, I see people throw $5 on the craziest, stupid crap in the world, you know? And then they yell at me that I don't show up to play music. I'm like, I'm not saying that you were yelling at me, but some people do, you know. I'm like, wow. You know what I mean? Crazy world. I don't think people realize, do you know how much that spiritual dance music costs me a month? And I do it twice a month. Do you want to know the number? The actual thousands of dollars a month? You might not think it costs thousands of dollars. That show costs me thousands of dollars a month, and I do it for free. Not only the music alone is $100 a month, because I buy about 50 tracks, or actually I buy like more. I buy like 60. And the tracks are $1.99 to $2 a piece, to sometimes $3 a piece. All the lighting, all the gear has to be set up. So I have 2 employees. They've got to set it up. Craig, the operation manager, I pay him for his salary. I won't give out his salary. I've got my executive assistant in Jordan and his salary. I'm not going to give out people's salaries, but you know what I mean? Like, they set it all up. I have to get all the music. And then we do the show. The internet is $500 a month to have internet to do that show. And they do all deep astrology. The building is in the plus 10 grand. I'm just going to say that because it's that big to host a facility like that. Okay. All right. Just to do deep astrology. The cameras are over 30 grand a piece, 30K a piece to be able to look that way. the computer to do the switching. You know, it's over $10,000. Go look up Livestream HD 51. You know, like go look up. That's the computer I use. 10 G's. So I don't, you know, it's like, you know, people are saying, oh, you don't give shit for free. It's like, I literally take a hit to do the shit for free because I don't care about money. I really don't. I could have taken all the money I've made through my whole life and done like most people do and go get some mansion and just go fucking live up there and not give a fuck. I'm opposite. I'd rather live in my 1-bedroom apartment and fucking do the work and put it all into a studio to give out to the world, to change the world. And if people want to pay me that $5 a month to help me make that happen, God bless you. If you don't, I still will give it to you. I will never go away. I'll do lives while I'm sick at my house the night of a new moon because that's how much I love. I even have cards because I'm going to pull cards for us tonight. Like, that's just how I roll. I just want to make that fucking super clear. Like, because I don't think I've ever really like let myself vent. Like, people don't get that to get out the content I give literally is in the tens of thousands of dollars just in cost. Just in cost. Just in cost. And I could have just done the typical YouTube thing and just had a $2,000 camera and do it out of my, you know, apartment and not had a studio and not tried to take astrology to the next level, because that's why astrology is going nowhere. It's because that's where nobody's going to take the balls and do a risk, because it's all about Capricorn and a risk. Take a risk. How, like, we are the forgotten ones. You know why? Because the people who are astrologers act like the forgotten ones. They do not step up and say, not even having to approve astrology, but just owning the value of astrology and showcasing it and showing people that it could be fucking amazing. So that's just the way that it is. You know what I mean? And like, it's just like, I don't know how better else to say it, you know? Like, that's you know, the other part, a lot of people have been asking lately, oh, how did you get on Steve Harvey? How do you get on Entertainment Tonight? How do you get on with Keke Palmer? How do you get on with Niecy Nash? How do you get on E! News? How do you get on reality shows? And you know what? A lot of it is because I'm balls to the wall, and more importantly, presentation is everything. Oh, whoever sent me that didn't need to send me that, man. You didn't need to do that, man. That was too nice of you. Thank you. But yeah, it's just like I just want all the viewers to know that I do this shit for all of us to open the doorways to not being the forgotten ones anymore, and not being trashed on anymore, and not being made fun of anymore, and not being the weirdos anymore, because we are not. We're the ones that know what the fuck is up. And I'm just, you know what? That's why my soul's down here. But, you know, we're in a capitalistic world, and you got to play by these horrible rules that we all don't wish we want. We all don't want to have to play by these rules. It sucks. Like, you know, especially like people ask me, well, why don't you just go move to another country and live out in Bali? You know, I'm part Indonesian. You guys know I'm Dutch Indonesian, right? My grandmother was born in Jakarta. Okay, my Oma. All right. So, like, all the spiritual people in the world saying, "Hey, go down to Bali and shit." I'm like, yeah, that's where my Oma was born. You know what I mean? Like, my whole family's been down there for a long time. I actually want to see a crazy picture here, because people always wonder, what are you? My dad's full white. My mom's Dutch Indonesian. But so this is my Oma's father right here. That's how Indo I am. That's his father, who was full Dutchman. Okay, so that's like my great grandfather. This is on my mom's side. All right. So, like, yo, straight up Asian full here. You know what I mean? Part Asian a little bit. You know what I mean? So, like, straight Indo. I could just go to Indonesia like my family did. You know what I mean? And just go chill out there. But LA is unfortunately the Matrix hub. is the matrix hub. What do you think Neo did? Neo went to the hub and plugged in. He didn't run away. He didn't go and hang out in Zion and just wait for the revolution to happen. And I feel that that's where all the light workers are being called to with this energy, this Capricorn shit. When people try to tell me, you need to take care of yourself better and you need to make everything greater, and I get it and I appreciate it and I understand all that stuff. But gosh, it's gonna, you know what? I didn't come down here to live a normal life. I really did not. I did not come down here to live your typical go to bed, wake up at the same time, show up the same way. Like, not me. If I want to smoke a fucking cigarette, I'm going to smoke a cigarette. And then when I get sick, then I'll, you know what? And I don't feel good, then I'll drink some smoothie. And then if I want to have freaking some corn syrup because I like it, I'm going to have some corn syrup. If I lose 10 pounds because I'm in the middle of so much stress over the last year from a Uranus transit, I'm going to lose 10 fucking pounds. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? Because at the end of the day, it's all about what's getting done. I could give a fuck how it looks as long as it's from integrity and as long as I get the job done. That's the only thing that matters to me. I don't care when I die, as long as whatever I leave behind open the doors to none of us being forgotten, none of us being made fun of, none of us in the whole community of spirituality and especially astrology and divination and psychic work to be not these weirdos anymore. My whole job is to show people we are not weirdos. We're the real fucking deal. I'm like, that's it. That's all that matters to me. So when everybody's coming at me with all this shit, I'm just like, okay, well, what are you doing? Like, are you doing it? Are you in the Matrix? I'm literally in the middle of LA right now. And I go on these shows, and even though some of it has to be cookie cutter because people aren't ready. They're not ready for me to show up and just throw a chart at them and how Chiron's gonna fucking, come out of the last degree of Pisces. They don't even understand that. So I gotta do love stuff. I gotta do stuff that, people are gonna like that's the job. How else are we gonna open this door? Because the spiritual community is not doing a good job just dressing all crazy and then trying to expect people to want spirituality when 85% of the world literally is not into it. You have to go into the Matrix and you have to put on the gear. Why do you think in the Matrix there was the whole thing about when Neo learned to go in the Matrix and he met up with, Morpheus, and they went in and they did the loading program. That's what Aries is the loading program. What, are you going to wear? You're going to wear sunglasses? Okay, you put on they dressed up in like, 7 to 10 grand worth of fucking clothing. I don't know if you know, in all those, in all that shit, that was all designer shit. You know what I mean? Like straight up designer. And when somebody tells me to breathe, why don't you go breathe? You know what I mean? Like, I'm breathing because I'm talking. Like, it's just crazy. I can't believe people today. It's like, it blows my mind. Blows my mind. I can't even believe it. I really can't. I'm just, to be honest with you, the spiritual community is just like lunatics now. Lunatics. Like, breathe, get under a tree, relax. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, like I'm okay, what, I can't see you, so you know what I mean? So I get attacked and told what to do, but I don't even know who y'all. All it is just a little name saying whatever, right? You know what I mean? Relax, chill. It's like Jiminy Christmas. I think I look pretty good to tell you that I'm pretty damn healthy, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, look at that skin. I don't even fucking have a pimple. So, you know what I mean? And I don't fucking do shit. I'm a man. I just fucking wash my face with normal fucking soap. Like the whole community now is losing it. Like it's losing it. You think I'm losing it? I'm not losing it. Losing it is like doing things that don't make sense. Like, and telling everybody how to live. I've been trying to push that message forever. Age of Deception was that message. A spiritual dogma is the scariest thing ever to me. It's the scariest thing. Especially when I get spiritual people telling me, you need to have more turmeric, or you need to have more this in your life, or you need to do this in your life more, and then you need to do that more. And I'm just like, I'm getting my job done, you know? And I think like, and I'm just gonna be very Leo, because you guys watch me because I'm the Leo motherfucking king. You know what a fucking Leo king's gonna say? Is your motherfucking book #1 on the fucking Amazon on astrology in 2 fucking days? No. So please tell me what I'm doing wrong, because I don't know what else, you know, like I'm sorry. To me, I base my whole life off manifesting. So I'm a manifesting generator in human design. I don't fuck around. I'm only here to manifest and generate only. That's it. I'm not here to, you know, like, to me, a vacation sounds like hell. Like just going to some place and sitting in a hotel and sitting at the pool for a week is like my worst nightmare. I would literally have a panic attack, you know? Like going to some Buddhist temple is like not me. That is not me. I didn't come down here for that. I did that. I'm South Node in Sag. Did that shit past life. Done. I'm North Node Gemini. Cities, you know, in the middle, communication, saying crazy shit, getting people stimulated, giving them lots of information nonstop. That's what I'm here to do. I'm not here to just sit there and go, zoom, all this. That is not, this whole idea that there's only like this one way of how you're going to connect to spirit, of like when you eat the right food and you pray the right way and you know, go to a temple and you haven't done ayahuasca yet in Peru. It's like, oh my God. Like, I just like, wow. Wow. There's no way. I can't even tell you what the way is. I don't tell people that if you don't know astrology, that you are fucking dumb. No, I don't say that. I know plenty of people who are super awesome spiritual, and they know jack shit about astrology. And I ain't gonna fucking tell them, well, if you don't know astrology, then you don't know the way. It's like, you know, like, I don't know. I think it's a good rant, because I think that, you know, it's Aquarius time, and it's this new moon's on Mercury. And I think it's important because this is Mercury. Mercury's about to go into Pisces, where it just gets really confusing, and it's gonna be there for a long time. And we really have to use this last week. I mean, it's this week. This is the end of Mercury Aquarius. That's how fast it went by. And then it goes into Pisces for over 60-something days. And then we're screwed. You know what I mean? Like, life's going to get really confusing and weird. That's why I'm saying, like, jump now. Jump, jump, jump. You know? Jump. Go for where you need to go. However you want to do it. That's the whole lesson of Aries and Mars. You are your own loading program in the matrix, and you get to choose your own way. You chose your own body. We all don't look the same. Even twins, even though they look exactly the same, I guarantee you some of the hairs on that butt probably are a little different than the other hairs on the butt of the other twin. You know what I mean? So, and I bet you that the teeth inside, you know, or whatever, we can go on for an hour. There's lots of differences. Yeah, ego's a good thing if it's used for pure, you know, ambition and the strength to go towards the direction you want. And then learning that you can't push everything down either, that you have to be humbled. So I think ego is good to know the direction and the loading program of how you want to load yourself and put yourself out there. But like, man, I've been running on this, you know, astrologer thing since 2006 when Saturn crossed my rising in Leo. And my ego, you know, was like, celebrity astrologer. And here I am in 2019, and it was like, finally, you know, got on, you know, Steve Harvey talk show kind of thing, where astrology had like 12 minutes on television, where usually when I went on segments, it was like 5 minutes here. You know, when Netflix did that thing, they showed all of us for just like a quick second and made us, and then tried to make us, oh, it's pseudoscience, you know, and all this shit. And, you know, other segments have done been a couple, like 4 minutes, or even when I was on reality shows, they always made everybody to look like they were against my astrology, even though they loved the readings, you know? So, gosh, you know, the humbling is to keep going, but like know that when there's a block and it's not there, that you just keep going and you just don't try and overkill it and over push it, because that's when ego loses. And I think that's the other thing, is like people think ego is this how you're looking and how you're acting, when really it's like things like telling people what to do. Like, oh, you know what? You need to do this more, or you need to breathe. It's like, I'm breathing. I'm breathing. Or I wouldn't be talking. I just happen to breathe by talking. You know what I mean? I'm a North Node Gemini guy. I got Chiron in Gemini. That's how I breathe. You know what I mean? Like, what I mean, do you really think I'd be here tomorrow if I didn't breathe? Oh, and that's why I love touring and doing my comedy tours about spirituality, because if you watch those videos, I mean, I call out the spiritual community. It is a joke. It is a joke. It's a joke, you know? And I think God's laughing. God's laughing. You know, I met with an old DJ this week, buddy, and he's gone through a real big spiritual thing. We're talking just about, you know, shows and especially like all these festivals now, you know, and all the festivals have turned into what you wear now. It's like, even Burning Man, right? It's like all about what you wear more than even the whole thing that it was originally about, even though he didn't say that, but, and that's my feeling about it all. But it's cool because, like, you know, I don't know. But it's just like everybody knows their own way that feels right and what feels wrong. And let people do that. Somebody asked me what I thought about Astrology Hub. I love Astrology Hub. I was there at the very beginning. I actually need to talk to Amanda, because I left because some lady got really upset with me about my description of Saturn and Venus and how they were playing out. It was during the Brett Kavanaugh trials. And I had nothing to even say about Brett Kavanaugh or anything, but like, I was just saying Saturn and Venus can be, you know, where the man kind of tries to dominate a woman sometimes, or vice versa, right? Like there's a domination, there's a control factor, there's rules, there's, you know, some very harsh energy, there's lots of restriction of self-worth, there's, you know, suppression of the feminine, suppression of a lot of stuff. And anyway, she started accusing me of all these crazy things, about saying things about Brett Kavanaugh. Like if I was taking Brett Kavanaugh's side or something, I was like, I didn't even go into that. I was like, whoa. And she went just really crazy on there. And so I was like, I told Amanda, I'm like, I don't want no, and it has nothing to do with Astrology Hub, by the way. They have nothing to do with this. It's just like some crazy woman who went crazy on me. And I just was like, I want to be able to express astrology the way I want to express it. And I don't want to like be called some crazy person, or that I'm some like, you know, person that I'm not being accused of being. And I think I was just, you know, upset about that, you know? So, but no, I love Astrology Hub. And honestly, I think Astrology Hub's great. I love everybody there. I love the whole team. I love every astrologer that's ever been on Astrology Hub. I haven't met every single one, but I've probably met like 80% of them in person at least. So I have nothing about good things to say about Astrology Hub. And actually, to be honest with you, I feel, you know, when I did Future Life, which I started in 2017, and building that and figuring that one whole out, and then and launching it, you know, like I thought I was going to go for to become the biggest astrology. I was already the biggest video astrology app in the world is the Leo King, but I was like, I want to make the biggest astrology network. And then I realized at the end of 2017, when me and Abby, my partner in High Vibe, we were like, you know what? Astrology is just one part. Like it's just one part. And not a lot of people are really into astrology. You know what I mean? Like they really don't. They want to learn or whatever. So that's where we started turning everything. And then the universe has finally made this all sense, because with High Vibe, like the school we're doing, we got human design on there. We got yoga stuff that's coming down in the school, but on High Vibe on the new app. The new app's going to have so much, it's insane. It's going to blow your own mind. And everybody's shooting in the studio now. And I'm flying people in to shoot at the studio. Like it's top notch. We're basically trying to put Gaia and show them how to do it with daily content and daily people and actually engagement and documentaries and it all, but like straight in your face all the time. But I feel Astrology Hub is the place for astrology now. I'm kind of like tipping my hat off to them and going like, take astrology, because I'm really focused now on, I'll have astrology on High Vibe and horoscopes and tarot and stuff. The old future life is going to be on High Vibe, but I'm really looking into, we got Sarah Posh, this great astrologer. She came to some of my shows. We've become friends. She's doing shadow work. And I think shadow work is so important in life. Like shadow work helps you get through so many things, right? So there's this whole element of like, I can't do that on future life. Like, you know, or I can't, like Astrology Hub, it's like, you know, it's like all astrology. So it's like, you know, building High Vibe is about being able to hit the whole thing. Like, and then we got Carl, who is a holistic health guy, and he's not the kind of guy who pressures you into stuff. That's why I like him. Because like, you know how some of these holistic people, they'll pressure you? Like he just throws out the facts and goes, you might need this, or this might work better. This might work better for you. So then we can get into the whole holistic thing. And then we've got, you know, this tarot course that Jax is doing. Jax is one of my favorite tarot guys. He's so good with tarot, Jax Atlantis. And so we're flying him in because, you know, tarot is more than just angel cards. It's knowing the original tarot is so important, and how to really know every part of every card and everything and create your own way. So for me, I feel like, I don't know, I'm at a place to where being an astrologer, I've kind of created my own Leo King thing, you know, and now that's in the media with TV and now being the top astrology book. And then, you know, I'm building a new book right now because that's just where it's all going. And I'm just going to use that as Leo King now world. And what I do here on YouTube with you guys is more of my expression of being an astrologer, my personality, and ranting once in a while, doing deep astrology and doing all that stuff. And then High Vibes, where I do the daily videos and the daily horoscopes. And then for me, it's an amazing platform to start doing interviews with big, whether they're celebrities or other influencers, because I have the platform for that. And I'm in the media and I'm doing all that stuff. So now I can get in somebody big that, you know, normally wouldn't come on, but because that network is built for this, so I'm trying to show you guys where it's all going, if that makes sense. Like it's way farther than astrology. Like astrology is great, but it's still just a tool. And there's so much more. There's so much more. And I think that this is what this whole new moon's about, and this Chinese New Year. There's so much more. So that's kind of where I'm at with it all. And, you know, there's like really nobody I don't like. Like people are putting people they like and stuff. There isn't anybody I don't like. I think we all know there was one person I didn't like, but he was talking a lot of crap on people, and he's not even on anymore. So that we don't even say that person's name no more. You know what I mean? So like, but honestly, I'm just in a chill place in my life. Not in the way that I'm handling. I mean, I got a lot going on, but I'm saying like inner wise. So even though to everybody on the outside, it looks like I am not at peace, like, because I work a lot and I'm constantly ranting and I'm constantly building content. And then when people meet me in person, like they kind of trip out, because even though I'm as the Leo King right now, it might take me kind of a while to get to David, right? Just to kind of, hey, what up? You know, it's just me. Anyway, they all trip out because they think I'm going to be just like a wild, crazy, banshee person 24/7, and I'm usually pretty chill back, you know? So, like, but when it's on, you know? So question is Marianne Williamson running for president. Any thoughts? Well, I know she already ran before, and I think that the spiritual revolution has not going to take off as big as we thought in 2019 with all this suppression of it. So I think it's going to be, she's going to send the right signal. And that's what I think that's what's good about her. She's sending the right signal of what could be out there. But I mean, I haven't looked at her chart, and I'm just talking from intuition that I think she's sending the right signal. But unfortunately, I don't think she's going to win. That makes sense. Because it's Capricorn. So with Saturn and Pluto and Capricorn, like, it's about how you got to be networking at the top of the top of the top levels, and the top of the top of the top is doing what they can to, you know, do what they do. Oh, this is a good question. Why do you say you feel all light workers are being pulled to LA? Well, what does Los Angeles mean in Spanish? Does anybody know what Los Angeles means in Spanish? So Los Angeles means the city of angels. And I feel that it was always predetermined by the Aztecs. You gotta remember that the Aztecs, which the Mayans, Mexico, was all up here, okay? And there's there's missions, just San Juan Capistrano, San Luis Obispo. Like, this was a huge mecca of spiritual energy that extended from the Mayan culture. And the 33-degree parallel line, which is the highest degree of the Masons, is Los Angeles, 33 degree. And if you follow that 33-degree ley line all the way, it goes right through Cairo, Egypt, okay? So people are called to Los Angeles because it truly is the city of angels. But it's a city of also there are dark angels too, like Lucifer was a fallen angel. So there's both. There's demonic beings here, and there's angels here, and there's a deep war going on here. And the media is controlled by this place. All media. It truly is. This is the place, even though they still now they're filming movies in Canada and stuff. All the offices are here. You know that 80% of the tax money in California is brought by only 1,100 or 50. I don't know the exact number. I wish I knew, but it's like around 1,100 or 1,500 tax returns. That's how much money these 1,100 or 1,500 people in California, in entertainment, and in especially the new entertainment is tech, right? Because you got Facebook, you got everything's up in Silicon Valley, okay? But LA is where the hub is. So Facebook Watch down the street just built studios. YouTube's biggest studio down the street from me on the west side here. So in Playa del Rey, which is just right here, because I'm on the heart. This is Marina del Rey. So this is Marina, which is right here in Playa del Rey is like YouTube studios. Like, that's where all the biggest creators go, right? So the thing about why all these people are being called to LA is, one, go anywhere else, you're not going to find where everybody's like totally talking spirituality, astrology, like tarot, like how's your vibe, like, you know, everyone's into it. Like, you're not going to go anywhere and nobody, it's like you can go anywhere. You can walk in Hollywood to Santa Monica to Venice. I mean, anywhere. You can just be like, yo, what up? What sign are you? Oh, yeah. And everyone's chill. You know, it's like, a lot of people are doing it, but it's a very hard place to live because there's a dark energy around it. And there's this matrix that has to be, you know, brought up. And a lot of people are called up because they think, oh, I want to be a celebrity. That's what I wanted to be. Like, I didn't know what it was, but a lot of people get called here for that kind of vibe of like, I wanted to project out my soul in a way. But it took a lot of humbling to realize that it had to be some sort of spiritual thing, right? Like a spiritual message to the world, right? And yeah, I'm in Marina del Rey. right behind my candles that are flashing, that's all the boats. That's the harbor right there. It's kind of cool. I'll take you guys out really quick if you guys want to see it. But that's the whole thing, you know. Because I do got internet out here. So yeah, so there's the boats. I don't know if you can see them all, but yeah. There's the boats. But anyway, yeah, so I'm a marina because it's just mellow. And I like boats, and I race jet skis, so it's much easier to race jet skis because here they have docks, and you can get a little dock and put your jet skis up on there. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, you know, it's like, you know. So even though there's a lot of darkness, there's a lot of light everywhere. And I've actually had a lot of people recently ask, "Oh man, like I want to get out of LA. It's so dark and it's too expensive and all this stuff." And I'm like, you know, this is the big choice for you on whether you want to hold down and trust. And that's going for everybody wherever they're at. Everybody thinks there's some escape. Like, okay, I'm going to go to the woods now. Or I'm going to go into, I want to get out of this city, or I want to get out of the country, or I want to get out of whatever. It's like, this is the call of what big work you're going to do, you know? And I think that there's a lot to see here. And I'm going to show this chart because I'm going to go pee really quick. But before we do, I want you to look at this chart and I want you to think, and I'm going to go back. Hold on one second before I do this. So I'm going to go back to this new moon. And I want you all to look real quick. It'll only take me 1 second to go pee. Yeah, so share. Okay, so I want you to look and see, where do you think and why do you think that Chiron is moving into Aries? Why at this time? Why? Go on, Pete. Hold on. All right, I'm back. You know what's so funny is I was gonna say, I wonder if people hear the microphone. I'm like, I wash my hands after I go pee. It amazes me how many men I'll be at. I was at a restaurant with a friend last weekend or 2 weekends ago, and I was like, this dude walked in. He thought he was hot shit. He like rolled in there, you know, and I rolled in kind of right after him, and like he had some chick with him, and he was like trying to impress her or something. And freaking dude walks in, goes pee, looks at himself in the mirror, and just pieces out, right? And then I'm just like, and as I'm washing my hands, and I'm like, You ain't gonna wash your hands, bro? Like, for real? It just blows my mind. I don't get how people touch their, you know what, and go in a bathroom where everybody's putting all their crap and all that stuff and changing baby diapers or whatever they're doing and all that stuff. And that's not a bad thing, but you know what I mean? Like, wash your hands, man. Like, and then he's gonna go on a date, and then I don't know, I think all crazy, right? So I'm like, oh, poor girl, they hook up tonight, and he starts rounding second base, like, oh God, he's gonna have those dirty hands all over her. Oh God. That's my Saturn in Scorpio laughing and my Mars in Scorpio. But like as a guy, I see that stuff and I just laugh and like, oh my God. You know, like, really? So anyway, I think it was I just wanted to show up tonight because I really wanted to do spiritual dance music, but it just wasn't possible. But I found a different way to show up tonight and entertain and give some information. And I vented a little bit. I needed a vent, you know. And I guess we'll pull some cards. And then I'll take some questions and then we'll roll out of here. Yeah, am I feeling better? Yeah and no. I mean, I don't do well not like in the groove. I enjoy getting up and taking a shower and getting my clothes on, doing my hair, and like getting out the door and getting into the car and driving to where I gotta go and getting into the office and making stuff happen and getting on the phone and making deals happen and talking to my manager and talking to people on readings and then talking to my employees and then getting this done and then making this content and getting in front of a camera and then, you know, making plans for this trip or this, like we just, I don't know if you guys saw, I'm doing Maldives June 1st through 8th with all these creators, this huge thing. And there's a big astrology element of it. So, you know, locking down Maldives and then, you know, my magazine now is the book is like the top astrology book. Like it's the top number, it's reached #1, it's top seller. So we'll forever hold that #1 top seller thing. And then, you know, like, I don't know, I love doing all that stuff. So when people ask me if I feel better, I don't feel things physically much, but when I do, it trips me out. Like, because I'm not ever thinking about the physicality of life, if that makes sense. Like I really, I don't think about that stuff. I don't, like you guys all see, I'll drink a Sprite or a Power. I drink Sprite and Powerade and water. That's what I drink, and then smoothies lately. And believe it or not, I have some water here. Like you guys are seeing me on the opposite side. Like it's not like I just drink Sprite and Powerade only. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's just like always the sugar kick I get because there's no, and everybody always tells me, oh, you drink Sprite. I'm like, there's no caffeine, dude. Like there's like hundreds of comments being like, oh, and you're getting the caffeine. I'm like, I drink Sprite because there ain't no caffeine. But so when it comes to feeling good, to me, it's not about like this sense of I just feel good physically or something, because even though, sure, like I am exhausted. I haven't had a day off in over a year, like full on, because even tonight I have to edit the horoscope for tomorrow, you know, and I have to put out the notifications. So there really is no day off for me ever. I've not had a day off in 7 years since I started, which will be on April 10th. Not one day off where I did not have to look at anything or put something out or, you know, write something or whatever. Like I don't know what that looks like. So for me, after this move, after all the things we've gone through the eclipses, after the TV shows, I mean, I did entertainment tonight, and then weeks later went on Steve Harvey, and then I'm going up to Sacramento for Good Day Sacramento. And that's all mixed in between, and then the app changing, and then the new Lightworker School, highvibe.tv Lightworker School we just built, and moving the app platform and moving High Vibes app and moving Future Life app and building a new one and getting it all out. And I do 3 readings a day of like on Skype sessions, like, and I film 30 videos a week, and I do deep astrology, and I do spiritual dance music every 2 weeks. Like, and I wrote that whole magazine. Like, there's this whole part, and then I jet ski race. Like, so I really don't know how to answer feeling good. To me, that's what feels good. So, like, you know, like I don't live a normal life. To me, the more normal, so somebody asked my hours of sleep is 6 to 7 is what I get. 8, and actually get, and I feel sick. If I get 8 hours, I feel worse. And I feel really tired. If I get over 8, I'm like, what's normal for me? I think normal for me is what we see and how TV shows think life should look like, right? Like, if I were to get really deep and truthful with you all, like 10 years ago, so that was 2009, was when I auditioned for True Beauty on ABC. And being an astrologer and a house DJ at the time, people thought I was crazy. Like, and they like, first of all, dance music was not in. Okay, EDM was not out yet. 2009 was not out, and I had been DJing for years before that. And I was in the DJ scene when I was young, like 2002, 2003 was when I got into it. So, so for me, I've been on this quest of living the weird life, right, for such a long time, and having people and being made fun of constantly, being made fun of constantly, and now, hindsight 2020, everyone's into this shit now, right? Everybody's into it. So it's like, I guess, like, I don't live a normal life because everybody might be into it, but they don't know how to make it into a sustainable living, right? That's the issue. And that's what part of the school is what I'm teaching, is I'm going to teach people that want to be tarot readers or psychics or anything in their spiritual community, how to build their business and platform, but how to like live their life and how to build their content and how to actually make a living doing this in a good living, opposed to just scraping by and tripping out about the next month all the time. You know, I haven't tripped out about the next month for like 5 or 6, 7 years. I don't even think about like, well, am I gonna be able to make it through next month? Like, I'm not even in that space because I trust the universe so much, and I trust what is working and what works. And I know if I apply that algorithm, it's gonna work. So I think a normal life to me is just a place that feels like I don't even know anymore. I've been so far away from it. So, I think, you know, somebody put it, I can see you on TV. I don't know what that means, but I think you know, being a television personality for as long as I've been, I think that, and then being as real as I am on social media, because a lot of TV personalities don't really let you in on their world and are not so real and are very calculative about how they do things, where I think I'm different. I like just be me. Does that make sense? And that's why I was always in reality shows. I was never good at acting because I mean, I can act, and I was great at acting, but I was improv. That was my thing. And so I like doing that. And so I think a normal life is kind of acting, right? Acting, waiting for somebody to tell you how to do it, telling you to breathe. No, I'm just kidding. Uh, you know, telling you what to do. And to me, I have gone in such a different direction that I created a path that there was nobody even knew it existed. Um, there was no personality doing astrology. I was the first astrologer to create a persona, not by the name, like an actual logo of the Leo King, and taking pictures with lions and in the whole, like, king energy, when I started this, right? And then building kind of like this persona with it, and then creating the world's first video astrology, like, hub that people watch a daily video horoscope every day. That's all about it. So to me, living normal is doing what other people have done. If somebody else is doing exactly what you're doing, then it's normal. And I think that I cannot live a normal life. So when people start building astrology sites and astrology groups, and I was like the first person to build a Facebook group for astrology right when it started. That's why mine's one of the bigger ones. And then now once everybody started doing that, that's when I kind of, okay, that's there. What else can I do different? Right? It's like, like that, like, to me, that's where it's at. It's like, I always want to be 5 steps ahead of everybody and doing something that people aren't doing. And still to this day, there still is no daily video astrology app. Still, I can't believe it. I thought after 4 years of doing it, I was like, and now it's going on 5. I was like, I thought there would be another competition for a daily video horoscope app that actually delivered a daily video every day. Still is not one. And even on YouTube, nobody actually follows through and does a daily video horoscope professionally, like, every day. Wonder Girl Astrology, she went to my school, and she took everything, but then she didn't even take the test, and then she went out and did everything the way that I told her to do, and she did great. And she's a good astrologer, so I'm not going to take credit for what she did or what she does. But I know that she tried to do it every day, but she even said it got her into massive burnout. And I tell people that. I've told people that in my school too. Like, I went through anxiety so bad after like a year and a half of doing a video every day, and then doing all this 12 sun signs every week and all that stuff. And even Christopher Witecki, who's my soul brother, literally my soul brother, in the spirit world. And that's where I learned my stuff from, because I was humble, and I went and said, I just want to learn, and I just want to be around this, and I just want to be around. And with Chris was the main guy. Chris was Soul Garden. I was the Leo director, and then after being the Leo director, I moved up to basically just kind of like his best friend, and whatever he needed me to do. We became roommates, and we lived together for 7 months, and I just learned a lot from him. And then he turned to me for a couple different things, and then we did a show, Astro Gossip, for over a year together. And I don't know. So, I think that we all have to learn from other people and take things and then take it in our own direction, But the only other person, honestly, in the whole world that did a daily video horoscope every day that I can say is Christopher Witecki. And honestly, he's a Taurus with a Leo rising and a Leo moon, and I'm a Leo sun, Leo rising, Taurus moon. And so we literally are cut from the same cloth. And I think it takes a Leo Taurus to be able to pump out that much love every day and manifest love every day. Like, because I think it's too much for a lot of people. It takes a lot, right? It's nonstop. I mean, him and I think he's in the tens of thousands of videos, and on the app I've done 7,000. I think I hear on my YouTube there's like 1,900 or something, and then that's not including all the other videos I've done in other places. But it's not easy to do, and it takes a lot. So I admire Wonder Girl because she's done it. She's put it out before, and I'm sure she'll find deep in herself whatever it is that she's got to move through inside to get back on that track. If maybe that is what she wants to do every day or not, you know. But there was a lot of weird stuff. You know, my ex-assistant went on Wonder Girls and then took a lot of the knowledge that I knew and applied, and then there was a lot of weird stuff there, and I just let it be. You know what I mean? Like, taught all the stuff, the same charts, how to do that, how to build a chart. There's a lot of similarities. Teaching the whole thing of it now, how do you have to have your intro, building a character and a personality. I hope you guys all see how all of this is making sense now, because I've never really talked about it, but you know, I got kind of screwed on that whole thing. There was a lot of weird stuff that went down with that whole situation, and I got no credit for it, zero, you know, and I just let it be, and I continuously let it be because I think she's great. But she was going to be on Future Life, and when my assistant quit Future Life, she hit up Wonder Girl, and they both left and went and did that, and took all this, what I taught in the school and all that stuff, and went and did their own thing, and took kind of the same approach, if that makes sense, right? And I learned a lot of lessons from that, and I'm sure that they have too. But, you know, it was just hard to see like the same chart and circling it the same way and all the stuff that I taught in the class, but without taking the tests and being certified, you know. And that was the hard thing, was like there was a lot of people, there's sort of like, that's why Tim Losey, who's on Future Life, I put my whole backing behind that guy, because he went to the school, he's certified, and I can say that I think he's a great astrologer, you know, or if he does the stuff that I taught in the school or whatever, like, he learned that way from me, you know. But when people go to your school, don't take the test, and then, you know, take the exact same approach, you know, it was very hard for me, I'll be honest, and I'm the first person to admit my own, and that's something that I had to work on it myself. Like, I was disappointed, I was sad, and, you know, especially when it was like the exact same thing, like creating a personality, and then I'm the one who told, you know, illuminating the collective consciousness. I say you need to, in my school I teach, you know, creating a you know, a slogan that you have to say. So I think, I forgot what hers is, like taking something to new heights or something, you know. And then I teach as well, if you're going to make money, you need to promote your product before you go in the horoscope. So if you go watch, it's the exact same scenario that I taught fully, 100%. Went through the whole school. And you can go look at when my school came out in June of 2017, and go look at videos after that and see the big switch. And I got no credit, none, zero. I give credit to Christopher Witecki all the time for teaching me this path. I give credit for Michael Erlewine for teaching me heliocentric. I give credit to Michael Luton all the time when I take something that I learned from him. I think astrologers have to. If you're an astrologer of integrity, you must give away where you learned and where you grew and where you get, you know, that is how you have to be. Because Christopher Witecki, Soul Garden, you know, he's a Taurus, so he went underground. If you go on, I think his Namaste Today is his show on Facebook. But Chris did like 10,000 plus videos, and then was like, you know, I need to change it up, and he needed to take some time off. And plus, it was Uranus and Aries for Tauruses, right? So he needed to go kind of on his own quest and kind of disconnect because he was doing this shit before anybody was. You can go on my YouTube and just type in The Astrologer's Tale. I did a documentary on 2012 on the actual days of 2012, and I interview Chris and I show his whole operation and where I learned my astrology from, and we have a full interview about 2012 and how I learned from him and our history and all that stuff. It's actually a great old documentary I did. It's literally, that one's now 6 years old. But yeah, and I'm not trying to talk crap on anyone, but I'm just being open about, you know, like really weird kind of stuff that I've gone through with this Uranus transit in my life with relationships and all those kind of things. Cause it just kind of felt jaded a little bit, you know, but at the end of the day, the only reason why I do the work is I want people to grow and spread the message. So that's my own stuff that I had to learn and go through. And so I'm not telling all this stuff to people now as if I want people to know in a way of like negative thing. I think it's a positive because I think that for me, it taught me to let it go and realize as long as people are enjoying it and getting to learn astrology, that's all that matters to me. But there's an integrity part of myself that's just like, oh, it's a lot of integrity, you know, like, or, you know, in interviews, like, oh, it's like, how did you learn this? It's like, in every interview, I always talk about Christopher Witecki, you know, like I always talk about my time with the astrologer I learned from. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that's what hurts the most is you know, is that stuff. And Chris and I went through that in ourselves. I mean, you have to remember that even when I started doing it and Chris was doing it, you know, it was like people start watching me, I'm sure for him. And there was, I think at the time, you know, we both had a lot of past life karmic stuff, you know, it kind of gets like a weird thing. And then, you know, there's a lot of weird stuff, you know. I mean, I would always want to talk to her, but the thing is that she has been surrounded by my ex. I guess she wasn't even an employee. She was a 1099 from another country, so W-8. But that girl did some really shady stuff with Takoko and put out false information and did a phone call and put up false stuff about my relationship, about all these things, and projected things in such a bad way, and it's connected with her. And so I don't know if I'm actually talking to her, if I'm talking to my ex, and like whatever you want to call her, like contractor. And so and I can tell when she's posting for somebody because she always uses capital letters, like, you know, like the big solar eclipse, you know, or anything like that. That's how you know it's that chick. Like, it's the girl who's worked for Peace Dealer, me, Lotta, like that. And I won't even say her name. That's how you know it ain't the astrologer, when those bold letters in multiple sentences start coming out. Okay, you know, you can know when it's from the heart, when it's from the astrologer, and the way that it's expressed. But you'll know it's not from the astrologer when you start to see bold letters and all these kind of crazy stuff, you know? And that girl did lots of harm to, she legitimately went out to hurt me. And she went out to hurt the Peace Dealer too, really hard. And he's one of, people don't realize that when I started this, like Peace Dealer was also part of Soul Garden with me and Witecki, was like part of the family. And Peace Dealer, I was his first reading for him with astrology. I gave him his first reading. And he was one of the first readings that I ever gave anybody else that bought. So Mike and I have a very crazy relationship because we both together, like the universe set us up to both learn in a new way of astrology with each other. And that's why we've always been great and best friends. And we all were part of Soul Garden. And even David Hauser, he was part of Soul Garden. That's how I met David Hauser. Like, I don't think people realize, and I've been telling Chris for a long time, I've been saying that we need to bring Soul Garden back. Like, we need to do like a reunion, or we have to do something big, like, and it's ironic that he's on a plane to LA right now. I'm going to see him this week. But really, I think Christopher Witecki deserves all the credit in my life about me getting on this trail, because I was doing astrology, but I didn't really know how to get it out there. And not only did he become my friend, but he took me under his wing, and he not only treated me like a friend, but then we also knew when I was I was learning from him. I was his, he was my teacher. He was my sensei, like he was the one that was showing me the way. I was his student. And we had a student-teacher relationship, and we had a best friendship. But we knew how to separate both, And that's, I think, a very important thing to have, as any astrologer should. And always remember to give that credit back. It's the honorable thing to do. And it's the rite of passage, I believe, is all spiritual leaders, or whatever you want to call it, must go through. You have to show up and do that. So, but, it's kind of where life's at now, is all these astrologers and tarot readers and pick a cards and all that stuff. There's not a lot of the old, like, way of learning and taking decade work of work and taking it seriously and learning from your teacher and helping your teacher, because the student is the one that helps the teacher the most grow. And in my case, my students help make me grow much more too. It's part of the exchange. And so I don't know, but it's like most of the astrologers out there went through stuff like that. All the ones that are older, they don't went through stuff like that. But I think that there's this new generation on YouTube that's coming out. It's just like, hey, yo, I can do this, and just throwing it out there and throwing out really catchy phrases, like half the readings for astrology now is just like your love thing for the month, or your soulmate, or, when are you going to find this? And that stuff, I think, is good, but I think it always misses the mark, because that's building on the ego more, instead of building on where's the universe talking to us, right? It's building on your own desires, opposed to building on what the universe is telling us to listen to, if that makes sense. And, there's a lot of, somebody put it as clickbait. I think we're all guilty of clickbait. That makes sense. But I mean, I clickbaited this with Chinese New Year, and we barely have talked about the Chinese New Year. But I mean, I think the pig does have a very spiritual part, and we can kind of get its last place, but there is this, vulnerability of the pig that I like. And I think that this kind of sets the tone of the vulnerability that we're in, and the needing to have that vulnerability. And I think Aquarius is vulnerable with truly giving all perspectives of things. And I don't think that all the people out there that are throwing the clickbait about loves or twin flames or all that are bad. They're very connected. But I think where you'll notice is in the deeper work that people want to feel, that there's always something missing, right? Like, and that's why deep astrology was made, because I know what people want to hear that will move them, because it's no ego. It's pure what the universe is saying. Somebody asked me my Chinese. I'm a wood rat with the dragon rising. Yeah. So, and I think that's the other thing about being a rat. Like, for me, you know, and I think that's maybe why, you know, my dragon rising, I think, kind of makes this kind of a weird thing, because rat and dragon are very, very, very intense and will get whatever they want, right? And so it's very same thing as a double Leo, my sun and my rising in Leo. But it's a hard life, because it's very, somebody asked me early on, like, what makes me feel good? What makes me feel good is like getting to where I need to go this life, wherever that is. And what doesn't feel good is not so much when I feel sick or it's like I'm just run down and I have allergies, you know. But because we've had rain here for 5 days straight, so all the stuff in the air that they're spraying, all the fires that were up in California, like in the central and the northern Cal, all that stuff came here with all the rains. So when I went to the doctor, he's like, dude, you don't have a cold. You have like bad allergies. It's the #1 thing going around for all the California people right now. And he goes, it feels like sick because your body is in full mode of trying to release all of the, you know, it's getting inflamed. You think you're sick, but you don't have a sore throat. You don't have the green or yellow phlegm. You're not coughing. Like, you're not, you know, it sucks, but, you know, and it's also, I've worn myself out from, I've only been in here a week and a couple days, and I haven't taken a day off. And yeah, take mushrooms. I'm done with the mushrooms. I've seen enough. And I think that's where Terrence McKenna, but I'm not going to tell him what he did, even though he passed away, is I think you can overdo some things, right? So, like me too, with cigarettes, it's like, once I get to like half a pack a day, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go to the old days when I just smoked a full pack a day, you know? So there's that part of things too. Did I get a little on me? Anyway, I'm going to pull one card for this new year. And I think it's going to be good to pick one card, because I think, you know what? Ironically enough, you know who gave me this deck or bought it for me for my birthday? I think it was last 2017, or maybe it was 2018, or maybe it was Christmas 2017. I don't know. But Christopher Witecki got me this as a gift. So kind of goes right with what's going on right now, right? So this is a different deck, though. This is not typical. This is the Astrology Black Moon cards. So this isn't going to be the card, but see, this one's Moon Soul, or this one is Cancer I Feel. But then they get into like angles, or this one's Uranus and Genius, or this one is like, some of them are like First House, the body. So this is a full astrology deck, you know? So it's pretty cool. I think it can give a lot more insight than tarot if you look from an astrology point of view, you know? So It's kind of cool. All right, so let's see. Oh, I'm shuffling these suckers. I'm shuffling. Forgot I am behind on 3 emails now. I have to get back to. Since I'm going to be doing a lot more YouTube like talk stuff, even if I'm not talking full blown astrology, I'm just gonna have to start like giving people and know everybody knows their names. So Sheila's my manager, so so I have to get back to the email. Okay. 8 of Tentacles. That's hilarious. All right. Let's see. What is in this deck for today? Or for, you know what, for this whole Chinese New Year? Should we do it as 1 card or should we do it as, I'm going to do it as 1. I like when it's just like, bang. So let's see what it is. I know, and thank you for everybody that stayed. I can't believe there's 787 people up in here still listening to me just rant in my kitchen. Like, dang. I know, and I'll be honest, because you guys know I'm all real. I'm just ready to go have a smoke. I need a cigarette back. So, can't smoke in this building either, like anywhere. I can't even smoke on my balcony, you know? Like, it's like so like crazy here. It's like California. You can't smoke anywhere. You can go to Vegas though, and I can smoke fucking anywhere. All right. Here we go. I'm going to clear the energy from myself and all the stuff I've been going through. I'm going to clear the energy from this deck, and we're going to see what's going to come up for this Chinese New Year, this new moon in Aquarius, from this deck that was given to me by my teacher, Christopher Witecki, who's on his way to LA right now on a plane. Ironically enough. And the card is lunar eclipse change. So I think what this whole, oh man, this is a total shift emotionally into a whole new comfort zone. But I think because that lunar eclipse that we just had before the Chinese New Year was in Leo and it was in Aquarius and it was square Uranus, this is a year of extreme foundational change, extreme root change, and complete and utter. And it's also the number 43 in here, which equals 7. Most highest spiritual change you'll ever go through now in your life that you have to face. This is what this year is, and that's what I think that you have to know. And I think that if you're afraid to make change and step fully into change, then not going to be very fun, because I think that that lunar eclipse and lunar eclipse energy can really, kind of come out of nowhere, and it really teaches you to stop getting comfortable and highlight a better way of taking care of yourself, which is actually by making the change that you need to make. And to be very real, I have just stepped my whole life into full change. I knew the lunar eclipse was going to be on my sun. I knew Uranus was coming for its last pass to square my sun. I knew Saturn and Pluto were coming in Capricorn. I knew Saturn and Neptune, which was just happening right now, hadn't happened in centuries and centuries and centuries. I knew that this was the ultimate alignment coming, and I've been saying it for a long time. A long time. It's not like I've been just like throwing this out at the end of the year. Like, I've been trying to call this shit out for years to people. And that's why in my life, I've made complete changes. And even though every change I made to where I'm sitting to you right now and talking to you has been fucking the hardest shit I've ever gone through, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, in all forms, in all matters, I know in my heart where I'm supposed to go. I know what is in alignment. I know what it is. And to do that is the fucking hardest. because we all are afraid of taking those leaps. We all are afraid of everything. We you know, and it's like you have to know, and you have to go, and you have to do it. You can't just hang on. And I think it's a little bit easier for me because I do got a lot of Leo, and I am Mars in Scorpio, and I do got a Moon in Taurus. So I got all these planets and their dignities and their exaltations. I'll be very honest with you all, and I don't want to sound snobby, but I was born very lucky. So it's a little bit easier for me, but I think I was born lucky in order to teach people how to do it because it's easy for me. I mean, Leo, it's when you're ruled by Leo and your rising's in Leo and your Mars is in Scorpio, which is the home of Mars, and you got the Moon in Taurus, and Mercury and Venus in Leo, which both like Leo. I mean, it's like, and I have Saturn in Scorpio, which is a very powerful position with Mars conjunct. So there's that aspect of like, there is no questions in my mind when I am not into it, and it's not in alignment, and it's not in my heart, and it's not what I want, and it's not, I just don't do it. And I make the change and I just, right? And that's luck. Luck is not because things just fall on my lap, you know? And luck is where you place yourself. So, you know, and that's what's the hardest for people to do. Like when I got kicked out of the military, I chose to get kicked out of the military, you know, because I knew it was not for me. And even though at 18 and 19, when I got kicked out, like that was, everybody thought it was crazy. But I knew in my heart I was not supposed to be there. And I had to go to jail. But I knew in my head, well, actually, I was facing 2 years in prison, but I was ready for 2 years over 6 years of being in the military. I was looking at it like that, like, okay, I'll get 2 years, and at least that's better than 6 years of this. So at least I'll get out at 20. And, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like literally, that was like me at 18. That was the choices right away as an adult. Like, got in, 6 months in the military, got in trouble, didn't want to be in, went AWOL, you know, popped my piss test for marijuana, and that's not good in the military. And went to the captain, where the captain's mast showed up, and then I ditched the captain's mast. I flipped the captain off, you know, and pieced out on base for another like 25 days. Came back before 30 for desertion charges, and AWOL, absence without leave. And so I racked up 3 different AWOLs. One was like a week, another was like 3.5 weeks, and another was 3 weeks. And then got to the captain's mast, flipped it off later. So I got, you know, sent to court martial. Okay. And so I was facing 2 years, but I knew in my heart I wasn't supposed to be there. And I remember, so there's a military lawyer who's just another officer who I went and saw before the captain's mast. And I go, because they want you to. They're like, you're going to captain's mast. Captain mast, all that means in the military, especially in the Navy, is like the captain of your squadron is going to punish you for these charges. That's all it means. So it's like, when I went and met with the lawyer goes, well, these charges will probably give you like maybe 6 months in restriction. I'm like, what's restriction? You mean that one thing on the other side of base where those people are? I'm like, he's like, yeah, and you'll probably get knocked 1/3 pay, but you're gonna have to stay in the military. It's gonna suck, but hey, man, least you're not going to jail. I'm like, I want out of here. I don't want to have to stay in here and still go to work every day. And I have to be in a jail where I live at the jail and go to work and be restricted to when I have to be home by like 8 p.m. And I'm like, wait, I'm like, this is even worse. Right. And so then he goes, where? He goes, you're from Orange County? I go, yeah, I'm from Orange County, dude. He goes, and this is where I think luck comes in, right? I go, yeah, I'm from Orange County, bro. And he goes, dude, I fucking grew up in Orange County too. He's like 3 years older than me. He's like a new officer, or like 4 years older than me. He's 22 or 23. He's like, yeah, I surfed, bro. I fucking used to go to Newport, all that shit. And he's like, oh, wait, hold on. He's like, what I'm about to tell you, you can't tell anybody. I am your lawyer, but I shouldn't even say this as a military lawyer. He goes, you need to go AWOL one more time. I go, you want me to go AWOL one more time? He goes, yeah, because if you just go to this captain's mast, you're going to end up for like 60 to 90 days in jail, where you're not in jail. You still have to go to work. You get knocked pay, and then you're going to get knocked down to E1, and then you're going to have to still stay in for your whole 5 years that you have left, because I already been in almost a year. So I said, all right. I go, so how do you think I should do this? He goes, well, I'm not going to tell you how to do that. Just figure that one out. But it's going to have to be dramatic enough to where you have to go to court martial, and then I can represent you with and help you with that, because at least you'll be meeting with a judge that's not going to be part of your squadron, know nothing about you. It'll just be a file. It'll just be a case. So I'm like, okay, great. So fucking crazy Leo me, you know, comes up with this plan 2 days later to show up in my full dress uniform, show up to my squadron. I see the motherfucker, you know, he's like literally like, he's like up in the window like this, you know, like looking down, and I'm like pull up in my car, and I fucking am smoking a cigarette, and I fucking put it out, and I get up and I look at him and I salute him and I go, fuck you. And I get back in the car and I just peace out. And there was, and the base I was at was where all the F-18s were, because I worked on F-18s, Hornets, and then I helped convert to Super Hornets. And I was in the squadron that was like the badass one, the one with like, we were the 151, the vigilantes. We were like the ones with like, you know, the skull and crossbones with a fucking knife in our mouths. Like we were gnarly. And my squadron that I was in dropped fucking more bombs on Iraq than ever. And I always felt weird about that, you know. I was kind of like, you know, like putting the, like I literally put the stickers of bombs for every 1,000 tons of ordnance that was dropped on Iraq. It was kind of weird. But anyway, so I'm like, all right, well, so I peace out on base, go like 30 or like 26 days to Hollywood. And I'm with my buddy who bailed out too. He went AWOL too. And we end up staying on his cousin's couch, who was like some stoner guy. And I'm like, well, my lawyer tells me I need to pop my piss test. I need to be AWOL. So keep passing that weed over, man. So I literally smoked weed for like 26 days and partied in Hollywood and partied in San Diego, partied, you know, and then the military came to all my contacts. They came to my mom's house. They came to my friends. They came to my grandparents. They came to my aunt and uncles. They came to everywhere. They had military showing up at the doors of my whole contact list. Because when you join the military, you get like 14 contacts, you know. So I'm my cell phone, I'm getting phone calls, and then I turned off my cell phone because I knew they could probably track me. And then I went and I pulled I had $5,000 from the bonus that was left over still. I pulled all that out cash. And I didn't use the card because they flagged my social. So if I used my social anywhere, it would trigger that, and then it would go to FBI, and then it would say that there's like a guy AWOL right now. It was crazy. I literally thought, this is a true story, no bullshit. And I remember I was AWOL, and I had a car, so I was like, fuck, I didn't want to drive the car a lot, you know, because I didn't want to get caught. But I'll never forget this. I went and partied, and I stayed at my buddy's house back in Orange County one night. And I couldn't stay at his house for some reason either, because his mom came home that night and they had come to his house, you know, the military. So I can't stay there. But he's like, just go down the street and sleep in your car. I'm like, yeah, it's probably a smart idea, right? Well, I had to go pee, right? So I thought I would be slick. And I like opened up the door, like in the back seat of my car, an Infiniti J30. Those were the weirdest looking cars, but it was what I could afford in the military, because nobody bought me a car. I bought my own first car. And fucking I peeing out the side of the fucking car. And some neighbor must have seen it, the stream of my piss coming out my own car, right? It's in the gutter at least, right? It's in the gutter. And freaking the cops show up. And I'm like, I'm fucked. I'm going to jail, and then I'm going to go to wherever they're going to take me. Like in my head, I don't know where I'm going to go, right? And they go, what are you doing here? I go, sir, I'm sleeping. So I lied, I'll admit. I said, my girlfriend and I got in a fight, and I'm down here from, I'm on leave, from the military. I'm down here, and, she's breaking up with me because I'm in the military, and I don't really have anywhere to go tonight, and I didn't want to drive home upset. And he goes, let me see your ID, sir, and can you prove you're in the military? I go, yes, sir. And I, of course, yes, sir. So there, and I give him my military ID. And he doesn't run the military ID, and he doesn't run my ID. He goes, oh, all right. And I go, yeah, sir. And then I have Navy stickers on my car and to get on base that still say it's like not expired to get through the gates, right? So he looks at all that and he goes, my brother was in the Navy. He goes, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I work at Lemoore. I'm a F-18, it's called the plane captain. That's what I was. I was a plane captain. And he goes, oh, no way. He goes, oh, that's cool. Yeah, down in Miramar. My brother used to do whatever. I was like, okay, yeah, cool. And he was just like, anyway, thanks for serving. And I heard that you urinated out here. Just like, maybe I know of a great parking lot if you want to follow me that we don't do, and there's no security. I'm like, great. And he fucking took me to a cool parking lot, and he's like, have a great night. So I was just like, fuck, dude. Like, I got through that. And then that's when I finally had to go back to base. And fucking right when I got to base, like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I even called, like, because I wasn't about to just show up and have like the whole military go on me, right? So I called and was like, I'm turning myself in at, whatever the day was, and I'm gonna be there at noon. You know what I mean? So my buddy and I rolled up like at 11:30 around the corner. We smoked a couple cigarettes because we thought we were gonna go straight to jail, right? So like we were like, we smoked a couple cigs. We like totally got prepared, and then we got there, and then the military police showed up, and they go, okay, we're taking you to your captain. I'm like, okay, fuck. And so I parked my car at the front of the base. They drove me all the way, which is like 12 miles because the base is huge. Fucking took me to the captain. The captain was not happy because I haven't seen him since I fucking flipped him off. You know what I mean? And he goes, you're going to court martial. I go, yeah, I figured that. And he goes, we have to immediately give you a urine test. I'm like, that's fine. So, and you're going to need to do it half naked. Like, we're going to have somebody looking at your penis, peeing in the cup. I'm like, I don't care, dude, whatever. Like, take my pee. So there I do. I pee in the cup, do it. And they do like the full test. And he goes, by the way that this all works, you're actually free to go. But you even think about going AWOL again or anything like that right now, that you're technically not a deserter, so I can't charge you as a deserter and hold you. But until we go to this court martial, you will, once this court martial date is set, and you're going to be driven there in a van with people in handcuffs. And I'm like, that's fine. I'll finish the story. It's almost done. It's hilarious, this last part. So like a week goes by, and I'm like on base, and he goes, oh, by the way, I don't want you by the jets. I'm like, well, that's my job. I'm pretty good. Don't you think I'm good? And he did not like my comedic energy at all, right? You're not supposed to do that in the military. So I'm like, I'm good. I'm one of the best guys out there. He's like, I know, but you just can't be out there, dude. So, just don't show up, but stay on base and check in every morning with your PO, your petty officer, and go back home. I'm like, great. So I went home. I fucking went and I partied and smoked cigs and talked to chicks on the base, and shit. And I was the rebel, it was awesome. It was kind of a fun thing. I enjoyed it a lot, actually. Everybody was talking about it, the whole base. Like, we're talking like 20,000 people live on this motherfucking base. Like, it was the talk of the whole base, like Palmer and Baggio, like we were just fucking just the crazy motherfuckers. So then everybody wants to know the stories we went through and all the pictures we had on our old cell phones that, you can't even send anybody. It was like crazy. But anyway, so I finally get the court martial, and that's in Port Hueneme, which is up in like Oxnard area here. And they put us in a van, and they handcuff us, and they take us to like a Best Western or something that the military pays for. And then in the morning, we're going to go to court martial. Well, we get to the hotel, and it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's me and my buddy Baggio, right? And then we had the two officers, but they were not MPs or anything. They were just like our petty officer guys. So they were pretty cool, but they're like, man, don't fuck with us because like we don't want to get in trouble. You guys are gonna split on us, right? We're like, no, dude, like trust me, like I don't want to get in any more trouble. Like my lawyer told me to get to this point. Like this is the point where I can get out of it. I'm just trying to get out of the military, bro. He's like, okay, cool. He's like, because we don't want to, like they gave him guns and they don't use guns. It was crazy, right? So we get to the fucking hotel, and then he's like, well, we got to take you out to dinner, and they gave us money for dinner. And I'm like, well, that's cool. I'm like, do you mind taking us to a strip club then at least afterwards? Because like this might be my last night for up to 2 fucking years, dude. You know? And they go, yeah, actually, fuck it, let's do that. So we went and had dinner, and then they fucking took us to the strip club, and then they took our handcuffs off in front of the strip club, and then we had the blast. We went out to the strip club that night. And then it was like 2 in the morning, and then they were fucking drunk, and they couldn't drive the fucking van back. And I was drunk, and this is back when I was like 19. I had to take ID. And so anyway, it was a shit show. And we didn't know how to get all 4 of us back, you know? And so anyway, one of the guys fucking somehow got us back. I don't even remember. I woke up the next morning, and there I am having to put on my uniform and fucking go to court martial with like the full, like, you know, A Few Good Men, you know, like, you know, the fucking court martial, like, show up, yes, sir, show up. So I show up, and the guy's actually pretty nice. He's like a younger guy, and he goes, you've been charged USMC, U.S. Military Code, blah, 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 right? I had like 4 charges. It was like, you know, marijuana 72% in my system, and I think I did a little coke back then, so I think it was like, yeah, a little coke in there. And then I went AWOL 3 times, and I missed a captain's mast, which is pretty gnarly, right? So I'm like, so I go, sir, I go, when he finally asked me, so how do you plead? And I said, guilty. And then or it was like no contest. I think I said no contest. So anyway, so I said no contest, and then he goes, okay, because I think my lawyer told me no contest kind of means like I'm not gonna fight you, but I'll take whatever you give. It's a little bit better than saying guilty, and it's better than saying not guilty and trying to fight it, and then pushing the whole thing out. So anyway, but he goes, I want to hear your side of the story. Why did all this happen? So I had my mom send me, I took all my newspaper articles from high school, my yearbooks, because in most people don't know this about me, but in high school I was peer mediator. I started that in like 8th grade, and I did it through 12th grade, which means, so from junior high into high school, I would do peer mediation for people in a fight. So if like 2 gangsters got in a fight at school, they'd come see me, and I'd try and work it out before the cops would do something, okay? And so people didn't like me for that, but I was also the captain of the water polo team, so I kind of was cool. So it was kind of weird because it was like, oh, well, at least it's Palmer. It's not like some dork, you know? Like they like, and I was cool with everyone. I'm like, guys, if you guys can work this out, the cops ain't gonna take you homeboys to fucking, you know, and suspend you, and then your moms aren't gonna be happy, and then you're gonna be more fucked up. I'm like, let's just figure this shit out now. Anyway, so I did peer mediation, so I had this whole thing about me on that, and then I had all of my swim records, and then all the stuff I did in the community, and so, you know, because I lived a normal, great, like, childhood, and I did a lot of great things. And then my grandfathers both died during this whole time. And one of them died during the whole AWOL thing. So I showed the obituary to that and how, and I did go do something for that. And then the best was, and this is the best part of the whole story. So the day I joined the military, you go take a test. It's called MEPS. And so that's where they take it's like a 6-hour test. And then they do all the physical stuff. Like they look up your butt, they take your blood, they do all the crap, right? Okay. When I took my P test, I failed for marijuana then, right? So I got pulled to the side like, all right, well, hey, like, you know, like it's like a sales job. Like they have like the best, you know, military people that can't wait for you to join. Hey, so I got your file here. You got a great ASVAB. You're like 1350, you know, like you can go anywhere you want in the Navy. You got great physical health. You're like ready to go, but we got a problem, man. I'm like, what's the problem? I'm like, I'm ready to go. I'm like, let's go. He's like, you popped your piss test for marijuana. I'm like, and this is 2002. So you got to remember that shit was not fun cool then. And actually, I haven't smoked weed in 7 years. If anybody's wondering who's new to this or don't know me. But I'm like, they don't, I'm like, I won't do it anymore. I'm going in the military. Like, he goes, I need to get like you to get a waiver, and that waiver needs to come from the captain of the MEPS here. I'm like, okay. And he goes, he might not let you in. And I'm like, well, let's have him look at my file and then see. I don't know. Like, you know, so I went in there and I was very respectful. I went to this old fucking crusty old Navy guy. I'd been in for like 40 years, 35 years, past retirement. And he looks at me and he goes, son, are you ready to dedicate your life to the Navy and to the core values of honor, courage, and commitment? I'll never forget it. And I'm like, yes, sir. And he goes, if I give you this waiver, do you promise to not do marijuana ever again or do any of the drugs from the United States Military Code of Justice? I'm like, yes, sir. He goes, great. And he stamps it and he goes, sign here. And I sign it and he goes, boom. Right? So I got in, right? So I had that fucking document. So I fucking fling that thing to the evidence lady who's typing or whatever and fucking throw it to him. And I'm like, you know, sir, before I joined, I fucking had an issue with fucking smoking pot. And I just never could fucking get rid of that for the last year. And I really don't want to be here. As you can see that my public life is much better for being an American than it is in the military. I don't do good in the military, but for some reason in civilian life, I help people. I do all this great thing, but I don't feel like I can help anybody here. I'm like, you don't have a job for me to help people. All you have me do is fucking wash this and talk this. I'm like, I don't know what to do, so I go crazy. He goes, that's a very good point, sir, or airman. I'm like, thank you, sir. I'm like, I think I can prove that I serve America better to help Americans in a civilian way than I do in a military way. He looks at me, he goes, let me go to my chambers. I'm like, okay. So I'm fucking sitting there going, holy shit. Cause I think it was actually 5 years, but my lawyer was like, you might get 2, like if it goes well. So I'm like, I'm hoping for 2 years at this point. He comes out and goes, I'm giving you 30 days in the brig, and I'm giving you an other than honorable discharge. So you're not going to get the bad discharge. It's just going to be like a wash. And I wish you the best. And I hope you help people out there in the civilian world. And I go, thank you, sir. So 30 days in jail would scare most people. But you have to remember, for me, I'm like, holy shit, fuck yeah, I just scored, motherfucker. Like, you know, like I'm like, yes, I'm out of this motherfucker in 30 days. So anyway, I'm like on my way to jail in the van now. Now the guys that took me there have to drive me to fucking San Diego to go to the fucking prison, like military prison, where all 5 services are there, including Coast Guard. Like, it's not like jail, prison. Anyway, that's how I got out. And then I spent 30 days in there, all through Christmas and all through the New Year. And then when I got out, it took 2 months to get out. Like, they call it, like, they're going to decom you out. Like, they're going to get you out of there. And so they, like, it takes a while. But what I did is they made me, like, paint all these horrible buildings that were hard to paint and were assholes to me for the 2 months getting out because they were pissed. I only got 30 days and I'm just getting kicked out easy. So the captain treated me like shit when I got out of jail. And anyway, but then I got out and then I started raving. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother night. And I had been raving before, but like then I went full blown. My buddy, he got the same thing as me. He got 30 days. We went to jail together. And then he's in Texas now. And he's cool. Somebody's like, you're in Cali and you don't smoke? I smoked from 15, 16 to 27 every day. And then when I started becoming a full-blown astrologer and doing spiritual channeling and stuff, like my guides basically told me like I had to stop. Like it was too much. It was just like doing this work and being high just doesn't work for me. It like I freak out. I feel everybody's energies. It's just too much. It started fucking with me. I was like, oh, this is not good. You know, and then my manifesting every time so that whole time after the military, I didn't manifest my dreams fully. And I always had problems with money because I was stoned. But that's me, and I don't judge anybody that smokes weed because lots of people in my life smoke weed. Lots of people close to me smoke weed. Totally have no big deal about anything. People can do anything they want around me. I don't give a fuck. Like I really am just whatever. You know, it's your life. But yeah, so I don't smoke. But I used to smoke every day. But it is what it is. But I'm gonna go. Happy New Year, everyone. Can't believe what 827 people still in here. Oh my god. I appreciate you all. If you go, oh, actually, before you go, will you guys just like take a look at this because I just want you guys to see this. Oh wait, where is it? Yeah, let's do the screen share. Okay, so oh no. Okay, so this is the new school. If you want to see you guys want to see the new High Vibe school. And I just wanted to show you guys it. And we're taking payment plans. So at the very first week of March, it's launching, but we're taking pre-registration now. So in my course for 12 videos, I'm doing spiritual business e-commerce development. There's another course that's 12 videos. It's the whole foundations of human design. Then this is the shadow work that Sarah's doing. And this is Dylan up here that's doing the human design. And she's doing how to integrate your darkness, but actually in healing and doing positive work with it. This is Carl doing his holistic health and wellness. And he's super awesome. And he's worked with a lot of big people. And then Jax is doing a full Exploring the Deck, complete tarot course, 12 videos. So each one is 12 videos. So you can get them individually, or you can get like the whole lot at a one discounted rate right now. So what I'm doing in the spiritual business part, but I'm also doing an astrology outline. With so many people becoming spiritual influencers, it's harder to get your word out there. The Leo King has created a course to teach how to get the most out of your mission, tools to connect with your spiritual mission clearly, then how to manifest it in the 3D world we live in. The Leo King will also be doing special astrology secrets for those astrologers wanting to make more out of their astrology career. This course is for any spiritual influencer who wants to get their message of the light brighter, wider, and stronger. So I go over a lot of the different stuff on there. Each course is $400 for the 12 videos. And if you're on a whole platform and everything, or you can get all the classes, all 60 videos for $1,500, and we're taking payment plans. And so if you do the whole thing, you get all the classes and you get 60 videos. So, and they're all an hour long and they're all shot. The other thing that they're all shot in the studios at High Vibe Studios. The other thing I wanted to show you all is if you guys could help me with this Amazon thing, because for me it's like such a big deal, because with this whole Amazon thing, when I built the book, you know, the guide for this year, a lot of people had trouble finding it in certain cities and stuff, and now it's out. And we were #1 in astrology, but already went back down. So now I'm #2 in astrology. We were #1 earlier, but now we're #2. So if people could help me out, but when you type in the Leo King 2019 astrology guide, people keep doing this one that's out, the one that's currently unavailable. There's this one that's by Topics Media Lab. That's the one. to get. And this is where I'm asking actually for the most help, because I really want to get astrology to the mainstream. Because if you look at the bestsellers in religion and spirituality, and when you go to New Age and spirituality, you know, the top books are like the Four Agreements or The Power of Now, right? New Earth, Eckhart Tolle. And then when you start going down the list, it's like The Secret, you know, and stuff like that. And for me, you know, it's like, I think I'm on here. Yeah, here I am. Right now I'm number 59. So I'm trying to bring astrology, because right now, like Brian Weiss, Many Lies, Many Masters, like that book's changed my life. I'm really trying to get astrology up here with, what do you call it, with these people, with all these, you know, up here. Because if I can get this astrology guide up here, because there is no astrology, right? Like it's all supernatural stuff, like The Secret, healing yourself, attached. It's not your money, I guess. You know, there's the Rider Tarot deck, of course. But like, I'm trying to get astrology up in this top so we could get the message out there and, you know, do all that. So basically, yeah, that's it. If you guys could help with that, I'd appreciate that. But other than that, sending you all the best. I'm going to try and make it tomorrow for Deep Astrology to the studio. I told Craig if I'm feeling up to it or I'm feeling better. I mean, I don't know. It's this, I just have allergies. So, but I'm also exhausted and beat. But I also, it's like one of the most important weeks is it's the end before things start to close as far as doors opening. So, I don't know. I'm going to get some rest tonight. And I hope to see you all for Deep Astrology tomorrow, which is always live on Facebook. We do it on Facebook for a reason. But anyway, I love you all. Let me get the chat up to say bye to you all. And yeah, thank you all very much for everything. And, you know, oh, I'm not mad at you for telling me to breathe. It was a funny example. I hope you know that. You know, I don't ever I hate anybody. You know. So I just want you to know that. Anyway, I'm gonna get some rest and decompress, and I think we all are in that space. And yeah. So somebody asked if I saw their share. I might not have. I have 5 people in my social media. So the best way to get a hold of me is through my website. And if you need to ever get something to me, you go through my website and you go through Craig or you go through Jordan. If it's entertainment, you go through Sheila, or if it's PR, you go through Eileen. If you need to get to me. So because I don't check all this stuff. It's become too crazy. So I hope people understand too. My Facebook page is just the Leo King. So IG, I do check stuff, but I don't check everything because it gets kind of crazy on there. But I happen to catch some things sometimes. So, but you know, the problem with IG is, you know, when you go to notifications and you look at your notifications, right? Like it'll only show you, like right now, just in the last hour, I've got so many, like when I get to the bottom, it's only showing me what happened 24 minutes ago. I can't go any farther. It's like, that's how many notifications are going on. So I only see 24 minutes every like hour whenever I look at my phone, or every 2 hours. I'm only seeing like 20 minutes of notifications in that spot. So, you know, and then when it comes to my inbox, I mean, it's kind of impossible to really know what's going on because I have 99 plus message requests all the time, and all within the last hour, there's like 20 just sitting there. So, and it's usually very astrology, or somebody just put in numerology, you're number 1, 4 plus 6 equals 10, 1, boom, or da, 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 da. So, you know, it all depends. So anyway, Love you all. Thanks for everything and supporting me in all those ways and helping me. If you could help me with the book right now, with the guide, I'd appreciate it so much. So I'm gonna go with that cigarette. Adios. Later.